And I want to share with you this amazing, amazing, powerful story, a real life story that happened here in Israel several years ago. Involved a soldier, a chayal, who was on guard duty. I believe it was in Gaza. And he was there by himself and putting his life on the line to keep us safe. And a sniper took a shot at him and hit, and he fell down. Sniper ran away, and this Israeli soldier was bleeding on the ground, couldn't move, and he was calling for help, but no one was really close to him. But there was another soldier who was pretty far away that heard the gunfire, and he ran towards the direction of the fire, putting his own life on the line to see that maybe someone was hurt, maybe someone needed help. And after searching and searching, he finally found this soldier who he did not know. He quickly ran to him, administered first aid, called for the medics. He put pressure on the wound to try to stop the bleeding, and he stayed with him until the medics arrived, and then stayed with him when they airlifted him to the hospital. And he waited until the doctor said, yeah, he's going to be okay, he's going to survive. And this soldier left. Meantime, the parents of the wounded soldier came rushing to the hospital. Imagine what it's like as a parent to get that phone call. Your son has been shot, and he's in the hospital. And you don't know what to expect. Is he physically okay? Is he mentally okay? And they came running in. They found him, went to his room. They embraced him. And despite the wound, they were so relieved to hear that he was going to survive. And the doctor said, you know what, if it wasn't for that other soldier, he would not be here. And they said, well, where is he? We want to thank him. And they inquired, and there was no name left, and no one knew who the other soldier was. About a month later, their son had fully recovered, and they were, of course, thrilled to have their son back, but still they felt badly. They wanted to express appreciation for that other soldier, that anonymous hero who had saved their son. So they owned a makolet, a small supermarket near Ashdod. So they put up a sign describing the story and asking if anyone has information, to please let us know. About a year later, a woman was shopping in the store. She saw the sign, and she started to tear up, and she told the workers, that was my son. And so they called the owners, and they quickly arranged for a reunion for that same day. Both sets of parents and both former soldiers were reunited that night. And as you can imagine, it was an emotional reunion. It was powerful. There were hugs flying. The boys, especially, they embraced these two soldiers that didn't even know each other. And the mother of the boy whose son who was saved, whose life was saved, she gave us an eloquent speech, a tear-filled speech, expressing her sincere thanks because her son was the world to her. And thank you for saving my world. And after everything was done, the other mother, the mother of the boy who did the saving, pulled the mother aside, the one who owned the store, whose son was saved, and said, do you remember me? Do you recognize me? And she said, no, I don't recognize you. Have we met? She said, about 19 years ago, I was shopping in your supermarket, and you saw me, and you saw that I was distraught, that I was in pain. And you stopped what you're doing, and you sat down with me, you pulled me to a private office and asked me what you could do for me. And I confided in you that I was going through a very difficult time and about to make a very difficult and painful decision because I was pregnant and I was on my way to the clinic to have an abortion because I just didn't feel I was ready to have a child. And you called your husband over and you just stopped your work and you sat down with me and just cried with me and held my hand and were there for me to just hear me out. And the last thing you said to me when I was about to leave was, just want you to know it's your decision, but as a mother who has a son, I can tell you my son is my world. And to hear your child say the Hebrew word Ima is the most beautiful word ever. And after I left your office and left your heart, you really affected mine. And I decided I was going to have the baby. I was going to have the child. So you really gave me this child. You gave him life. And 18 years after he was born, my son, the son who you really gave me, he ended up being there to save your son when your son was stranded and needed it most. It's amazing how God really runs the world. And he takes care of us. He's got our backs. But at the end of the day, it's our actions that really determine our future. And here was a woman who was struggling with a difficult decision. And somehow she harnessed the power of the lion to have that courage to overcome herself and her own obstacles, her own internal struggle, to give life to a child not yet born. And by doing that, she set in course the motion for her own son to become the lion in a physical way, to be able to save a stranger from someone who's from the cusp of death. I see we're out of time. I want to thank you all so much for your time. And I want to give a blessing to all of us, that we all are able to harness the lion within inside us, the ability to wake up like a lion, excited for each and new day that God gives us, to have the power to overcome all obstacles that we face in our lives, physical and spiritual obstacles, and ultimately to become the best us that we can be. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you